Everyone knows the 911, everyone knows the 959, but Porsche's history is full of cars that almost nobody talks about. And some of the stories behind them are stranger than fiction. Today, we're counting down 4 underrated Porsches, and the facts most people have never heard. Number 4. Porsche 968 Turbo S / Club Sport. The 968 already lived in the shadow of the 911, but there's a version of the 968 that's so rare, most Porsche owners have never even seen one in person. The 968 Turbo S. Porsche built this car for one reason: Group A, homologation for racing, and to qualify, they only needed to build a handful. Estimates put the total number of Turbo S models at around just a dozen units ever. Under the hood, it wasn't the standard 968 engine. It borrowed the turbocharged power plant from the 944 Turbo S, tuned for serious output, making it, on paper, one of the fastest transaxle Porsches ever built. Then there's the Club Sport version, a stripped-out, lightweight variant with reduced sound insulation, simplified interior, and a laser focus on the track. No back seats, less weight, more focus. Today, these cars rarely come up for sale. When they do, collectors treat them less like a 968 and more like a hidden 911 beater. Number 3. The Porsche 959, trapped by US Customs. The 959 is famous. What's less famous is the legal saga that followed it to America. When the 959 launched in the late 1980s, it didn't meet US crash and emission standards. Porsche never officially sold it stateside, which meant any 959 that arrived in the US existed in a legal grey zone. The most well-known case involves a 959 imported by a tech billionaire in the early 90s. US Customs impounded the car, and it reportedly sat in storage for over a decade while the legal situation was unresolved. The story became part of the reason the show or display law was eventually created in the United States, a rule that allows limited numbers of historically or technologically significant cars to be legally imported, specifically because of situations like this. In other words, one impounded Porsche helped change US import law. Number 2. The Porsche 356 Carrera and its nightmare engine. The 356 is often dismissed as just the car before the 911, but the Carrera version hid something extraordinary under the engine cover. Instead of the simple engine used in standard 356, the Carrera variants used what's known as the Fuhrmann engine, a 4-camshaft design borrowed almost directly from Porsche's racing program. It was a genuine race engine adapted for road use, which meant it was also notoriously difficult and expensive to maintain. Some mechanics of the era reportedly needed days, not hours, to perform a full service, but that complexity came with a payoff. These engines powered 356 Carreras to real motorsport success, turning what looked like a simple sports car into a genuine giant killer on the track, a road car with a race engine that scared its own mechanics. That's the 356 Carrera. Number 1. The Porsche 989, the sedan Porsche almost built. Here's one most people have never even heard of. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Porsche developed a project internally known as the 989, a 4-door sports sedan decades before the Panamera existed. It got further than most people realise. Styling studies, engineering work, even a V8 engine were developed for the project. So why didn't it happen? Cost. The early 90s recession hit Porsche hard, and a brand new platform for an entirely new category of car was deemed too risky and too expensive at the time. The project was shelved, but the idea never really died. 2 decades later, Porsche finally built that 4-door sports sedan. We know it today as the Panamera. The 989 wasn't a failure, it was just 2 decades early. 4 cars, 4 stories, almost nobody talks about. From a 12-unit racing homologation special, to a customs battle that changed US law, to a race engine hiding in a simple classic, to the sedan that was decades ahead of its time. If you want more hidden Porsche history like this, subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from.